Hey y'all, my name's Mare. Welcome back to my channel. Today I sound like I don't have a voice because I don't, and I also have a middle part for some weird reason. I never do this, but today I said middle part Mare. Okay, let's bring her out. So welcome to my channel that I don't post to consistently and where I talk about books, and that's what we're going to be doing today, is talk about the books that I've been reading while I've not been posting to booktube very often. I have quite the length of books to talk about today because not that I've been reading a whole lot, I've just been avoiding talking about what I've been reading because I have not had a wrap up since April of this year, and it is currently the end of July, and so I have a lot to talk to you about because I've definitely been reading, even if I haven't been announcing that I've been reading. So the very first book that I want to chat with y'all about is a beloved book on Bookstagram and Book Talk and everywhere that I found just mediocre, and that is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. And this one was actually quite devastating that I didn't love it. I did like it, I just didn't love it. Okay, so let me make that clear. I don't think it's a bad book, but I was personally very disappointed by it because of how much I liked Beach Read by Emily Henry. This was one of my most anticipated books of the year, and it just didn't do it for me like it seemed to do for everybody else. And People We Meet on Vacation is about these two young people, Alex and Poppy, and Poppy and Alex went on vacation every year together because of Poppy's work, and they all of a sudden have this divide, and so a couple of years later Poppy actually invites Alex to go out on one last vacation to sort of rekindle their friendship, or you know, maybe a little more than a friendship, a romance, dare I say. This was good. Like, I think I still rated it pretty high. I think I gave it a 3.75 if we want to be overly specific, but I enjoyed it. My main problems were just that Poppy was super annoying, and that I feel like, as with most romance that I read, because I read a lot of contemporary romance, miscommunication just irritates the crap out of me, and this issue could have been solved if they had just, you know, talk to one another, and no one knows how to do that in People We Meet on Vacation. So that was really frustrating, and I just overall didn't feel their connection. I wanted to feel their connection more, and so I didn't really believe the ending as much as I wanted to. It was cute. I think it's a bit overhyped. If you want a nice fluffy little romance that you're not going to think too hard about, perfect recommendation, but it just didn't do it for me like I wanted it to. The next book is yet another disappointment, and I actually have quite a few of those, so maybe I just hate reading, I don't know. But this book is actually The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen, and this one, I don't even know what it's about anymore. There was something to do with teeth magic and an assassin, and that's all I've got going on in my brain right now because it felt very unoriginal and very bland and very tropey, which is what I wanted, okay? Like, I wanted a nice, fun, trope-filled time, but I just feel like my problem with this book was that every single time I tried to read it, I had to reread everything. I'm not even kidding you. When it took me 3 times the length to read this book than it should have, because I had to reread everything 3 times. I reread so many chapters, so many paragraphs, trying to get a better grasp or understanding of what the world was and how the magic worked and who these people were, and I just couldn't. And I also just couldn't care less about any of the characters in this book. No one was convincing, and they just felt very flat and one-dimensional, which is really disappointing because, like I said, it had a cool magic system with teeth, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna love this, and I just didn't. I don't remember what this book is about. I'm probably not gonna be able to tell you. You can Google it, but it is a YA fantasy that was mediocre. So if you want to Google that and add it to your TBR, go ahead. But personally, I don't recommend it. Then I read Call Me By Your Name, which I gave 2.5 out of 5 stars. Call Me By Your Name, I did not realize what it was about or why it was problematic until I actually started reading it, because I had not really heard all the problematic things about Call Me By Your Name. I just heard that everyone liked Call Me By Your Name, and then I read it and I was like, y'all like this? Like, I'm confused. I will say the writing of this one was very beautiful, but the relationship in it was not, because it was very, very like, it felt inappropriate because of the age difference. It felt very much like grooming to me. I don't know. I just don't really care to give this book any attention because it doesn't deserve it. I deserve attention, not this book. Moving on to a book that I actually enjoyed was Frostblood by Elly Blake, and I gave this one a whopping 5 out of 5 stars because personally I loved it. Could I tell you any characters' names? Could I tell you any plot points? No, it's been too long since I've read it, but I really enjoyed my experience reading this book because it was super fun, tropey, it was exactly what I wanted in the moment, and I couldn't knock it for just being a fun time. And I believe this book series follows 2 different types of people. You got your Frostbloods and your Icebloods. Wait, Frost and Ice are the same thing. You've got your Frostbloods and you've got your Firebloods, and the Frostbloods don't like the Firebloods, so the Firebloods are kind of extinct. And then your main character, Ruby, because of course her name is going to be Ruby, is a Fireblood, and so she gets taken captive because of that. And so it sort of spirals off the events of that. And what can I say? That it was anything but a fun time. Like, it was a fun time, I can't deny that. And I don't know if I will be reading the rest of the series because I've had them checked out from the library ever since I finished the first book, but I just haven't had any desire to read it. But Frostblood, you really hit the spot in a time where I needed you, and I appreciate you. And if you were looking for a fun trope-filled YA fantasy, look no further because it was a blast. I need water. Do y'all hear my voice going out? I also don't know why I decided to wear a sweater because I don't have the fan on in here. It's super freaking hot and poor decisions were made. Another book that I read, because I read books here, is All the Stars and Teeth by Adalyn Grace. And this one is about magic and teeth and mermaids and pirates. And similar to Frostblood, I don't remember a lot about it. I'm sorry, y'all, I told you my memory and my reading retention was bad from the get-go, okay? And I'm not gonna look up summaries because I don't care. All the Stars and Teeth follows a girl who is destined to be queen, and so you're kind of thrown into the world with her going through her queen ceremony. All I could think of when I was reading that was the opening scene of Frozen when Elsa is going through her coronation. That's what it's called, coronation. Your girl in this book is going through her coronation, and she just realizes that it's different than what she thought it would be to lead her kingdom. And she also finds out that her father has maybe been hiding some secrets from her about her kingdom, and so everything that she thinks is real is just not what she thinks it is, in classic YA fantasy fashion. And I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was really fun. I just felt that it dragged a little bit too long. I thought that the main love interest was really fun and really cute. Would like one for myself, but I just thought it was a fun time. Didn't think much of it. I did try to read the sequel and then I promptly put it down after a few pages because the themes of feminism were just rubbing me off the wrong way. I don't know, I feel like the book was just telling me very much that it was feminist, but it wasn't actually showing me that it was feminist, and so I was just kind of like getting annoyed with the main character. Granted, I only read a few pages of the sequel and I didn't really give it a chance, but it did not captivate me as much as the first book did, so I just kind of put it down. But maybe I'll return to it. I don't know, this is a side tangent, it doesn't matter. But All the Stars and Teeth was really fun. I've been on my pirate stuff lately and it just really hit that for me. So if you like pirate books, I guess go try it. The next book that I read that I really hated, was Then She Was Gone by Jewell. And this one is about a girl who goes missing like many years ago, and her mother is just kind of grieving her in the current day, and then new evidence about her case, I believe, comes out in the present day because of someone her mother in the current day is meeting and like connecting with. And it just really irritated me. I don't know why. I just really hate Jewell's writing, I think. And I don't like her mysteries. I don't think they're engaging, and like they just infuriate me to no end. So why am I reading a Jewell right now, do you ask? I couldn't tell you. I think it's a form of self-hatred, but I just don't like Jewell's writing. I mean, if the book itself sounds interesting, it probably won't make you angry like it makes me angry. I just don't know what it is about her. And this is nothing against you, Lisa, personally, if you're watching this, which I know you're not, but like, No hate towards you, girl. I just don't like your books. The next book that I want to talk about, though, was not a disappointment. It's actually one of my favorite books probably of 2021, and that is House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin Craig. And I am desperate for Erin Craig's next book to come out. It should be out probably by the time this video is posted or around. I know it comes out before the end of July of this year, so I am stoked. I don't even know what it's about, but basically, I loved House of Salt and Sorrows so much that I'm willing to read whatever she puts out, because House of Salt and Sorrows was amazing. It was just so engaging and spooky and atmospheric. Atmospheric is my word to describe books, y'all, because I love a good atmospheric book. But when I tell y'all House of Salt and Sorrows was atmospheric, I truly mean that. It just had this grit to it. It just felt like my heart was racing every time with these characters. I was like really worried for what was going to happen to them, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no way of predicting. Let me tell you what it's about, because I haven't done that yet, but that might be helpful, right? So House of Salt and Sorrows is about a girl, don't know her name because again, my memory is absolutely awful, but this girl lives near the sea. House of Salt and Sorrows, get it? And her life is very sorrowful because all of her sisters are just mysteriously dying one after another with no explanation. And so another sister dies in the beginning of the book, and so she kind of is like, what gives? Like, why are my sisters dying? Am I next? And so it's just about that mystery. It's really fun. Not fun because like the book is like really depressing, but really atmospheric. I'm just gonna say it. I hate to say it, but like the book's atmospheric, and that's why I love it. So if you like a nice creepy tale, pick that one up. And it's a fantasy standalone, which is my jam because there's not enough of those, and I don't have any commitment to me. I don't have a commitment bone in my body. So if you're like me, highly recommend. Then I read Ace of Spades, which was also fantastic. This is a YA mystery thriller, and it's about these two black kids who go to an all-white boarding school, and they start getting mysterious texts from someone named Aces, who is threatening to reveal all of their secrets and is blackmailing them. And I think it's advertised as Get Out meets Gossip Girl, which is exactly what it is. And it was really, really great. I thought it was really engaging and believable. I was just really scared for these two main characters the entire time that I was reading it. It was just really powerful, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for a YA mystery thriller with lots of great social commentary. After Ace of Spades, which was fantastic, I read A Piece of Garbage, which was Blade of Secrets by Trisha Levenseller, which I was super excited about. This was probably my most disappointing read of 2021, which is devastating to say because Blade of Secrets had such a cool premise, which is about a teenage blacksmith who can make weapons of all sorts of power, and then one day a warlord approaches her to make a blade that kills its victims and then takes their secrets with them. But it was just super disappointing, and I didn't like it because all the characters were super flat and I hated all of them. There was no point in reading this because it was just bland. Another disappointing book, For the Wolf. This was okay, actually. I think I gave it a 3-star. It was kind of middle of the road for me, but I feel like that's still disappointing because you don't want your books to be mediocre. You want them to be fantastic. And this was just It's a Little Red Riding retelling that just didn't have any flavor once again. Where are the flavors in these books? They are seriously lacking. I also read All the Feels, which did not disappoint. I gave this one 4 stars. This is the sequel to, spoiler alert, which is an adult romance that I really loved last year, so I was super excited that I got an arc for this book, and it was just really fun. It distracted me at a time when I really needed it because there's been a lot that's been going on in my personal life, and I just felt like I couldn't escape. And fortunately, All the Feels really offered me that escapism and really helped me get through it and not think about what was going on in my real life. It made me just think about the book, which was super great. The romance was just really believable. I really liked the banter, and if you're curious about what the spoiler alert series is kind of about, it involves fan fiction and TV shows like Game of Thrones, and this was just a continuation in the series with characters that were in the original book. So I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend you pick it up when it comes out in October, I believe, of this year. Another book that I read and absolutely adored was The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson, and this is the 4th installment in the Truly Devious series, and of course I love this. I gave it 5 stars. The Truly Devious series is something I talk about non-stop on my channel because I just love it, and it follows a girl named Stevie Bell who solves a mystery at a boarding school, and this is a side novel, so it takes place after the events of the Truly Devious trilogy, so technically you can read this without reading the original trilogy. I don't really think it spoils a lot about it, besides the fact that it was solved, which is like not a spoiler because you're going into a mystery wanting it to be solved. And I just really enjoyed this. I loved being back with Stevie and the cast of characters, and I just thought that the mystery was really well crafted. Maureen Johnson did a fantastic job with it, so can't wait for more books in the Truly Devious universe, or at least I hope there's more. Please, Maureen Johnson, give me more. After that, I did read The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, and I gave this one a 4.5-star rating. This one is about a girl who dies at a university that is close friends with the main character's niece. So the niece calls her aunt and she's like, "Hey aunt, can you come to the school? Like, I'm really like freaking out over here. My best friend just got murdered." And so the aunt takes it upon herself to sort of figure out the mystery that is happening at the school, which was like annoying and like not believable at all. But I just kind of let that go and I had fun with it, and so it didn't bother me like at all that this really shouldn't have happened. And it was just really interesting. Like, I don't think it was like super shocking. There was one twist in here at the end that I thought really added another twist. It made me surprised in the end, even though I thought I had it figured out all along, and I was like, okay, so I was right, but I didn't know why I was right. And I feel like Alex Michaelides did a good job of giving you that twist and still leaving you surprised as a reader without giving it all away. So super fun, loved it. It wasn't my favorite. I think that The Silent Patient was better, but this one still was super engaging. And the last book that I read recently was a weird one. I read Desperate Measures, which is very different from what I would typically read. It's not necessarily my genre, but it's an adult romance, and it's a Disney retelling between between Jafar and Jasmine. So do with that information as you will. I thought it was okay. I feel like it really lacked a plot, which I know isn't the point of the book, but for someone like me who is a plot-based reader and just based off of what the book is about, I would have thought that there would have been more plot and that it wouldn't have been introduced, you know, 3/4 into the novel like it was, but that's what happened. So it was good for what it was. Like, I mean, it's exactly what you think it would be, and I think that Kate Roberts did everything that she set out to do, and you know what, good for her. But I don't think that I'm necessarily going to be reading the rest of this series because it just wasn't my cup of tea. But you know what, I'm glad I tried it, because how would I know it wasn't my cup of tea unless I did? So thank you for bearing with me through this video. We finally did it, and thank freaking God, because I'm so sweaty and I need to shower because I feel disgusting because of my ring light glaring on me and the lack of the fan and just the apartment being hot, and the fact that I live in Florida is just a combination of bad things. So I am gonna go shower now and hydrate and rest my voice like I should have been doing this entire time. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today. I really had fun, and I hope you did too. And you can like this video if you want. That would help my channel out. You can subscribe if you want to hang out more with me. That's all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye y'all.